Hello and welcome to my review of the Mobius action camera. Now if you haven't seen these cameras before, they're quite new, they came out about summer 2013. It's a tiny little camera about the size of a matchbox. In fact, if I get my keys, if you look at the size of a house key there, it's about the same kind of height as a key. It's 6 centimeters tall, 4 centimeters wide and 2 centimeters deep. Now I know you're probably thinking, when I first saw it, you probably think, I bet the footage from this is rubbish, I bet it's like a cheap mobile phone. It's not. This records in full 1080p HD and it looks absolutely superb. It looks to me almost as good as a TV show. I mean, it's incredible when you see the footage. So this review is going to be done in 3 stages. First of all, we're going to look at the camera itself. I'm going to talk you through all the little buttons, show you the camera and tell you what it does. Secondly, we're going to look at the software that comes with the camera, because there are loads of options you can play with, different resolutions, different settings, tons of stuff. Thirdly, we're going to look at some sample footage, and I'm going to show you lots and lots of samples at lots of different qualities. Now, throughout the video, or maybe at the end, I'm going to put some links on the screen and you'll be able to see all of the different video qualities. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is if I put all of those samples into this video, you wouldn't get to see the different quality. You would only see the same quality throughout the whole video. So there are going to be samples of low quality, medium quality, high quality, in a car, out walking, at night time, tons of different samples. I'm going to try and put the links to the samples on those videos so you can download the original file and see how it looked originally, because YouTube does convert the files and make them look a little bit different, but it's very, very similar. Now, you wouldn't really tell the difference unless you look really, really closely. So yeah, let's move on with the review and let's start by looking at the camera itself. Okay, so here we have the camera itself. This is the top of the camera because it can be a bit confusing to know which way up it goes when you first get it, but this is the top with the buttons on and that's the bottom. It doesn't actually matter because you can turn it around and you can have it either way up, as I'll explain later on in the software, but you can flip the video so it doesn't matter which way up you have it. So let's have a look at the buttons. The first one you can see here is a shutter button, so that just starts recording and stops recording. This camera also works as a digital stills camera, so like a normal everyday digital camera, and it works really well. I might put some samples in the video now that I've taken with this, so on the screen in a moment there should be some photos coming up to show you the quality of those pictures. So as you can see, it's a very usable camera. It's not just like a throwaway gimmick. It actually works really well as a stills camera. Obviously there's no flash, there's no zoom, but it's not really meant to do that, but it does do good photos. Next down we have the M button, which is the mode button. I shall show you that in a moment because the further one down is the power button. So let's press it and turn it on. And you'll see this little LED on the light here, this little light on the left, that will start to flash yellow. So it goes blue, then it goes yellow. Now I've got the camera set up so that it records as soon as you turn it on. So I'm going to press the shutter button and turn that off and the yellow light will stay on. Now this camera has different modes, so yellow is full HD 1080p 30 frames a second. If I press the M button it goes blue. That's now recording 720p 60 frames a second. If I press M again it goes to red, or orange red. That colour, the red colour, is the digital stills camera mode, so I can press the button there, the light will flash and it's taken a photo. Pressing M again will go back to the first yellow mode, 1080p. Now you can alter those modes, you can change them to whatever you want, so you can kind of customise it. I've never known a camera like this be so customisable. It's going to turn off there. There's so much you can do to this camera, both accessories, so you can add things onto it, loads of different cases, different mounts. Whatever you want to do with it, put it in your car, put it on your head for skiing or whatever. Works brilliantly. But you can also customise the insides as well. If we look at the other things on here before I talk about that, these two silver things are the heat sinks. When you record in full HD, any camera gets really hot because it's a lot of things that the camera's doing. So this helps dissipate the heat kind of comes out of there. And you'll notice that when you've been filming for as little as 5 minutes, if you touch those, They're not going to probably burn you, but they are warm to the touch. So be careful if you've been recording with this and you put your thumb on there, you might go, oh, and take your thumb off quick. They're not meant to be touched, they're not buttons, they're there for the heat. So if we look now at the front of the camera, you've got the lens. There's not much else on there, just the lens, and the little hole there you can see is the microphone. Now, as I was saying, you can customise the lens. You can actually take this camera apart, unscrew that lens and put another one in. So if you break it, no problem, you can just replace it, and it's about £15 I think, very cheap to replace. You can also put a wide angle lens in there, which I think this standard lens records at an angle of about 87 degrees. The wide angle lens records at about 112 degrees. This one is fine though for using in a car or general purpose use is fine. But if you do want an even wider angle, you can do that. This side of the camera has nothing apart from this little ridge, which I'll mention more when we look at the mount, because that helps you to mount it. The back of the camera, turn this way up, you've got a USB port, which is sorry, a standard USB port on the right there. So you can plug in any USB port, you've got any USB cable, and it will power the camera or connect it to a PC. On the left here you have the memory card socket. I should just take this out now, and it takes micro SD cards of any size. You can use SDHC, SDXC. You can see I've got a card there. One quick point without getting off topic is don't worry about having class 10 cards. People always have this thing about you must buy class 10, it's got to be the fastest card. You can get these memory cards that cost about 50 to 80 pounds, and it's like ultra speed, mega speed, super speed. You do not need them. This one is a class 6 and I actually use a class 4 normally. This camera only records 2.1 megabytes of data at its highest resolution. So even a class 4 card, class 4 means it can record a minimum of 4 megabytes per second. Class 6, as you can just about maybe see on there, class 6 this one, means it can record 6 megabytes of data per second minimum. You do not need to buy expensive memory cards, just buy buy a good quality one, but you don't have to spend loads on a class 10. Any class will work apart from class 2, because that's a little bit slow. We also have on the back there is an LED which flashes when the camera is on, and again you can customise that so you can turn it on or turn it off. We also have a little reset button. I've never had to use that because it's never gone wrong, but if the camera does go wrong you can put a little pin in there and reset it. This side like the other there isn't much, and on the other side this one there's nothing, it's just flat. This camera does come in a lovely kind of rubber texture. It's like kind of you get on expensive mobile phones. It's just incredible how, for the price you pay, which I should say later on, you get such good quality. It's not cheap plastic, it's very nice, kind of almost like a velvet feel to it. So there you go, that's the camera. Now you might be thinking, well hold on, there's no tripod mount. Well there is, because with the camera you get this little cradle. Now this cradle, if you look on the other side, is a tripod mount. I'm not going to take it out now, but you'll see that it's kind of hinged in there. All you've got to do is push that with your finger, and it's quite stiff, it won't come out easily. If you push it from that side, it will come out. And you can then mount it to things like straps. So if you want to put a strap to these holes and tie it to your chest or to your head or whatever, if you go out skiing, then you can do that. This little cradle, you just simply push it on like this. It's quite awkward to do this when I'm filming it, but you just push it on there and it clicks in, very firm, very secure, and you've now got the camera in its little case. This is brilliant because if you look at a lot of cameras like the GoPro Hero 3, they kind of insist on you putting all of their cameras into these stupid waterproof cases. Not all of us want to do that. We don't all want to go swimming under the ocean filming. I make a lot of in-car videos. I don't want to go driving my car through a lake. And I know you can get like skeleton cases and that, but this is brilliant. And you notice when the case is on, you can still access the ports at the back. Really good design. You can still plug things in, still get a card out. Very secure. That is not going to come out easily. You can push it there. That is not going to come out when you're out doing things. You also get with the camera, by the way, a little lens cap like that, which I normally leave off. I have accidentally on a few occasions gone out and filmed a video and I forgot to take the lens cap off, which is a really bad error, but it's so small, this camera, you can easily make that mistake because it's so easy to remember to take it off. So I recommend leave that off. One other thing I'd recommend is do not leave this camera in your car overnight, because if you do, you'll get maybe if the temperature goes too low, you get condensation forming on the lens and you can go inside and break the camera. So I recommend, I think it's supposed to go up to 45 degrees or something like that, but I don't know how low you can go. I wouldn't recommend it for, like, you know, sub-zero temperatures. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to show you one more thing, which is the car mount. So I'm just going to take this off my other camera. Okay, so I've just zoomed out a little bit now so you can see the car mount. This doesn't come with it, but it's very, very cheap to buy. So you can buy one of those, then you just screw it onto the top. And here's another one I've got, and there it goes. So that's what you put in your car. You clip it on where you suck it to the windscreen like that. You put it on, pull that up, sticks on the windscreen, no problem at all. You can have it filming forwards, backwards, whatever you want. And you notice now the camera is upside down because you notice the top is on the bottom. That doesn't matter because you can change the video so that it flips upside down automatically. I'm going to show you that on the next part of the video now. I'm going to go through all of the software with you and show you exactly what you can do. Now there are loads of other mounts you can buy for this camera. They're all kind of helmet mounts, bike mounts, whatever you want. There's tons of accessories for it. And because it's got the standard tripod mounts on there, you don't even have to buy specific mounts for it. You can just plug it into any tripod you want. So if you want to go and buy, you know, a cheap tripod for your car, this one's really cheap anyway. This only cost me £5. But you can go and buy any of them, any one you want, and plug it in yourself. But let's now have a look at the camera's software and show you what it can do. Okay, so one more point I forgot to mention in the review, just a quick add on this. When you get a car camera like this, it's not meant just for the car, but when you use it in the car, there are two kinds of stabilisation hardware you can get, which makes the picture look smoother and stops it shaking around. One of them is called digital image stabilisation, and one of them is optical image stabilisation. Now optical image stabilisation is a better one because it means that the lens actually moves around inside the camera. It kind of bounces like it's got suspension, so it soaks up the vibrations. Digital image stabilisation is not so good because it's just like the camera and the software tries to stop the picture moving so much. Which one do you think this camera has? Well, it actually hasn't got either of them. It's got nothing at all, it's so impressive that this camera has nothing and it's so stable. I mean, look how, I know I'm not moving now, but when I was moving, look how stable the picture was. And you get these fancy expensive cameras that have all these gadgets built in, and they don't work anywhere near as well. So yeah, just a little bit I wanted to slip into the video there. Okay, so here we are with the Mobius software. So you get this program you can download for free off the website. I'll try and put a link on the screen now if I can. And when you plug your camera in, it comes up at the top there. I hope you can see the screen quite well. It comes up and it gives you the camera. So you click on it and you now can go down to change all the settings. So I'm going to go over these in great detail. But before I do, if you look at the top, you'll see you've got this thing about creating profiles. This is great because what you can do is you can change all these settings and all these different tabs, and then you can just save a profile. So for example here I've got one called everyday looping. That's just what I use for when I'm in the car, and it's just everyday recording where the video loops round and round. Then when I do a special 1 hour video or something like that, I've got here long video, no looping. So yeah, you can set up all these different profiles. I don't think there's a limit on how many you can have. So let's go through all of these little tabs. So first of all, you've got basic settings, synchronized date, and if you hover over this it shows you, it tells you what to do, but I'm going to explain it in a bit more detail. Synchronized date and time, that's obvious. When you plug the camera in, do you want it to synchronize the date with the computer's time and date? Well yeah, I have that clicked to yes. If for some reason you don't, you can set it to no. Timestamp. When you record with the camera, sometimes it will record the time and the date down the bottom of the video. Now I don't like that being turned on, so I'll leave that turned off, but it's up to you. USB charging, disable or enable. Do you want it so that when you plug the camera into an external power supply, it starts charging? Now you might say, why would I not want it to charge? Well, you can actually plug this camera into a phone as well. Let me explain something I've just forgot to mention, sorry. This software only works on a PC. If you've got a Mac, you cannot use this software. For Mac users, you have to edit it in a text file. So it will say things like, you open up a little text file and it says date time equals 0, which is no, or date time equals 1, which is yes. And you have to change all the numbers. You don't get this nice interface. It's just like you might have seen that before. It's a bit awkward if you're on a Mac. But with this one, this camera, you can actually plug it into an Android phone. There's an app you can get so that you can get this software you see here on your phone. Now that's brilliant, because if you don't have a PC, you can still use your software, and you can actually change the settings when you're out on the road. So if you're out filming, maybe you film yourself, I don't know, mountain biking or something, you might be halfway through and for whatever reason you want to change the settings, you can plug the camera into your phone and change them on the move, which you can't normally do. Another thing I forgot to mention briefly on the last bit of the video is because that camera has an on and off button, sorry, it has an on and off button, you can actually turn it on and off in the car without draining your battery. Because this is where this comes in. It says here, auto start external power on or off. So that means when you plug the camera into a car supply or any battery supply, do you want it to turn itself on or not? Now, what it means is inside the camera there is a battery that will last for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So if you don't have access to a power source, the camera does actually have a battery built in, so you don't need to plug it in, which is an excellent feature. Not many cameras have that. Most of them you have to have them plugged in. This one you don't. You can also buy a battery pack which will last for about 5 hours, so you don't have to have it plugged in. But what this does here is it's saying when you plug it into a car power supply or any power supply, do you want the camera to turn on automatically and start recording? And I set it to yes, which is on. Now the problem is, in a lot of cars like mine, I think all Ford cars do this, and I think Volkswagens as well, they have what you call an always on power supply. You cannot turn the cigarette lighter socket off. Even when you turn the ignition off and take the key out and lock the car, it's still on. So this can be a problem in most cameras, because if you leave the camera in your car overnight, it will drain your car battery and you won't be able to get your car started. Not a problem with this camera, because you can change these power settings, and it's also got an on-off button on the camera, so you can just turn the car off, press the off button, and you won't drain your car battery. Really good feature. So let's carry on. Another one now, auto start power on. Quite simply, when you turn when you plug in a power source, do you want the camera to start recording immediately? Well, yeah, I do, so I'll turn that on. If you don't, for whatever reason, just turn it off. Power on delay, fast or delay. This simply means that when you press the power button on the camera, it will either come on immediately, or you'll have to hold the button for a few seconds with a delay. The reason you might want that is that if you put it in your pocket, you don't want to knock it on by mistake. You might have it set to delay mode, but I don't carry it around in my pocket much, so I put it on for the fast startup. Power standby, how long do you want the camera to wait before it shuts down? Obvious that. Power off disconnect. When you unplug the external power, do you want the power to go off immediately after 10 seconds, or disable that feature? I have it on immediate, so if the power gets cut, the camera goes off. You could have it on 10-second mode. So for example, if you accidentally unplug it, you've got 10 seconds to plug it back in and you haven't lost any video. Or you can have it so if the power gets disconnected, disable that. Your camera will keep recording off its internal battery, so if your car power supply fails, you can just kick in the camera battery and you won't notice any difference at all. TV video out, I don't use that mode. You can plug in an optional cable into your TV. Why would you do that? You can just take the memory card out and plug that in your telly. You can watch it on your PC. I don't bother with that mode, I don't use it. Photo frame size, how big your photos are going to be. Time-lapse photos, you can do time-lapse mode. So you can just have it to take a picture every 5 seconds, 0.5 seconds, every second, every 2 seconds, every 5 seconds, and you can do a time-lapse thing. There is actually a hidden option on here which I'm going to show you, like a secret mode. If you hover the cursor around here, where is it now, around there you go. See, it mentioned motion detection. Now this is supposed to be a feature coming in a future firmware update. It's supposed to be made so you can put it in your house or whatever, and you can turn on motion detection, so if you detect someone walking around your house, it comes on and starts recording or takes photos. So yeah, that's something that should be coming in the future, but they've kind of left it in there a bit. It's kind of a hidden little box you can find there. Let's go on to the next tab, global recording settings. I'm going to go through these quite quick because some of these are obvious but some aren't. Recording indicator on or off. That's the LED light on the back of the camera. Do you want it to be on or off as you're recording? You may want it off because you might just want to not have it showing that you're recording if you're doing some kind of secret recording. Loop recording on and off. What this does is it records continuously, so that when your memory card is full, it will just go back to the beginning and start recording again. So I have that turned on, so you don't have to keep thinking, oh no, the memory card's full. It will just go back to the beginning and start recording again. Now I'll go through how much data it takes in a moment. Audio volume on and off. Again, I think they're going to update that so there's different levels, but that's just microphone on and off. Lens type A or B. Lens A is the standard lens. If you put a widescreen, wide angle lens in, you select lens B. This is a good one, video data rate, low, standard and high. Now there'll be links in this video so you can watch what each of these looks like. Do not be put off by the word low. Low quality on this camera is as good as high quality on most cameras, as you'll see from the samples. But this affects how much data it's going to take up on your memory card. So listen to this carefully. If you have it on low setting, it will record at 12 megabits per second data rate, which means a 1 hour video will be around 5 gig in size. If you have it on, this is on 1080p mode. On standard, it will record at about 15 megabits per second, and the file size is about 6 gig for an hour of video. In high, it's 18 megabits per second, and it records 7.8 gig, so a massive file per hour. Now, one thing to understand about this is the way looping mode works. I might put a video on the screen now, but I might not, I don't know. The way it works, if you watch this video, or watch the video I might put on in a moment, is that when it records a loop, it will record what it says here, video clip length, 3 minutes. Let's just leave on 3 minutes for now. It will record for 3 minutes. When the next clip starts, and this is very important, listen to this carefully, when the second clip starts recording, it will record the first one for 3 minutes as file 1. It will then go to record file 2, and it will start recording that. File 2 will have 1 second of the first clip on it at the beginning. So imagine you're driving past a phone box, and the bonnet passes the phone box, then it goes on to clip 2. Your bonnet will now go back before it's past the phone box, and you'll drive past the phone box again. So you kind of gain 1 second of video each time it starts recording a new clip. Now it's not a problem. All you've got to do is go into a video editing package and edit out that 1 second. Again, I'll try and I'll do another video about that and explain in more depth. But quite simply, it will record for 3 minutes and 1 second. So you need to erase the first 1 second of each video clip, otherwise you'll get a bit of a jumpy video. Now it's not a problem because you can have it on 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or max. Max means it will record for as long as it can up to a file size of 4 gig. So on max mode, if you have this setting to low, this will record for 45 minutes on one clip. Standard mode, it records for about 38 minutes. High mode, it records for about 30 minutes. So you don't have to worry about your videos jumping. You can edit the little jump out easily, and it's not a fault, it's designed to do that so you deliberately don't lose any video. But on max mode, it's going to record for about 45 minutes at a time on each clip. Rotate photos 180 degrees, that means that the camera will record in upside down mode. So if you click that on like yes, you can turn the camera upside down and it will record the right way up. Artificial light. In the UK I've got it 50 Hz because our lights work on 50 Hz. If you're in the USA or whatever, you might want that one. It just means that the camera will record better based on the light settings if you're indoors. This is a very good one, wide dynamic range. What it does is simply gives the camera access to a wider range of colours to record with. So when you record in low light conditions like at night time, things look a lot better. And there'll be a sample clip probably on the screen now of a nighttime mode. It's so impressive this. This makes nighttime look like day, and the video clip you're watching, I swear it's nighttime. I know it looks like day to night, and everyone says, oh, it's daytime. It's not. This makes night look like day. It's brilliant. Not exactly, but it looks very, very good. Much better than on my other camera, where nighttime was just completely black, you couldn't see anything. Last one, video mode settings, quite brief on this. Quite simply, you've got mode 1 and mode 2. You can set up the modes like 30 frames, 60 frames, video resolution. Full HD 1080p, you can only have it to 30 frames a second, but you can fiddle around with these angle of view, small or large. So does if you call it a narrow angle of view or a large angle of view. So it's like, you know, narrow screen or like a widescreen picture. I have it on large because I like to record as wide a picture as I can. On small it kind of zooms in more and it's a squarer picture. It's still widescreen picture, but it looks a bit squarer. So yeah, you can have mode 1, mode 2. I remember earlier on I pressed that button and it flashed yellow or flashed red. No, sorry, flashed blue. This is the blue mode, that's the yellow mode, so you can change it so that when you're out on the move, you might want to record in your car at widescreen, you know, like wider screen with 1080p, then you might want to switch it to recording a close-up of your face to do a little talk to the camera in 720 mode or something. So yeah, really handy. There are other buttons like updating, there's firmware and that kind of stuff, tools. You can update the card, format the card, update the software, gives you the latest software there. But that's a look at the Mobius software. I've yet to have it break, I've yet to have it have a single bug. It works brilliantly, so it's a very good piece of software, completely free, and they are regularly updating it. So the final part of the video now, we're going to have a look at some samples. I'm going to show you now a page. It might just be a blank page with lots of links on it because I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. But here are lots of links for low quality, medium quality, high quality. When you click on the links, it will pause this video and you'll go and watch those in a new window, and then I'll just give you my final summary of the camera. Okay, so there we have it, the Mobius Action Cam. The one thing I haven't told you yet is the price, and I'm going to tell you this now, and it's quite shocking. Now bear in mind, quite recently I had a top of the range car camera called the Roadhawk HD. It's supposedly the best on the market. Costs around £300, really expensive, top of the range, supposed to do everything. I found it was a load of rubbish. The video quality was average at best. The sound was horrendous, it was so poor. All you got was this constant crackling, hissing sound over the audio, and they said there was nothing wrong with it, that's just how the camera is. Well, if that's how it is, it's rubbish. That was a pile of junk, so I got rid of that. So compared to that, how much does this cost? Because this does a lot more. Now okay, it doesn't have things on it like GPS, it doesn't have a built-in speedo, but as a quick point, I understand that those speedos built into car dash cams are not admissible as evidence in a court of law because they're not approved. When you're driving along, the sat-nav signal, the GPS signal, so you can bounce off trees and bridges and whatever and distort what the actual car speed is. So as I understand it, it's pointless having a speedo on there anyway because it doesn't mean anything. And on mine, I've actually got, my car has a speedo in the windscreen so you can see it anyway. But anyway, compared to that camera which is supposed to do everything, that was about £300. How much do you think this one costs? Surely it will be about, what, £500? Look at the size of it, the technology, the feel, the modes, the software. It must be about £500, I thought. How much do you think it was? £45. Can you believe that? £45 for a camera like this, which outperforms the top of the range one in every way. That Roadhawk was a pile of junk compared to this. I mean, look at it, it's amazing. Now when I say £45, that's if you buy it through eBay direct from Hong Kong. Now I didn't do that because I've had bad experiences before where things have taken literally a month to arrive, or they haven't arrived at all, and you email them and the other people don't speak much English and they're trying to translate it for you. It's a mess. So I paid an extra £15 and I bought it through a little company. I'll put a link on the screen now, and you can buy them from the UK. They come from the West Midlands. I think they import them all from China for you or something like that, and they cost £60. But for me, I'd rather pay an extra bit more. I mean, God, I paid £300 before for that pile of junk. I can now buy 5 or 6 of these for the same cost. I have actually got two of these. I like them so much. I bought one, tried it and bought another. So if you're looking for an all-purpose camera, whether you want a camcorder for your holidays, a camera for your holidays, an in-car camera, a skiing camera, a scuba diving camera, because this can have a waterproof case and go underwater. Whatever you want, this camera can do it. This is the only camera I'm going to use from now on. The only reason that I'm not filming this video on the camera is because I've been using both of them to demonstrate things. But normally I would be filming these videos I make on this camera. It's amazing, I recommend it without any doubt at all. Video's great, sounds great, it's very cheap. If you do drop it or break it, it's only £60 to go and buy another one. If you're watching abroad, £60 is about, I think it's about 80 or 90 US dollars. It's very cheap. It's about the same cost as a cheap pocket camera. So yeah, that is the Mobius action cam. I thoroughly recommend it. If you want to see more videos that I've made with it, check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/firstdrive. I think forward or backslash work just the same, it seems. But yeah, it's a brilliant camera. I've made loads of videos with it so far. Have a look, compare it to the older videos I made on the Roadhawk HD and see what you think of it. Because nothing was wrong with that camera, it's just it didn't work that well, it's just the way they're made. So yeah, that's my view. Please subscribe to my videos, please like the video, leave a comment if YouTube's now been sorted out, because as I record this, it's all in a mess being merged with Google Plus and all that. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.